But this offseason, so much has changed, and I am so excited for this season because you go out and you sign Framber Valdez, which is the first massive signing that Scott Harris has made. And I've loved Framber Valdez even before we signed him. I thought he was one of the best pitchers in the game, one of the best lefties in the game. His off-speed stuff is absolutely nasty. So I was very excited about that. Then, not too long after that, they signed Justin Verlander and they bring him back. And we didn't get a chance to dive into that on this show. We were in between, I'll say this, and before we started up this show, when that happened. I know you dropped a video on it, but I've been so excited to talk about that because, going back to bringing up like my childhood and all of that kind of stuff, like this kind of, this is bringing me back to my childhood, bringing JV back to this team. And, he's still a good pitcher. I was watching some highlights of his from last season. He's still got some bite on his off-speed stuff. He can still throw hard, even if not in triple digits in the seventh inning and stuff like that, and so this is just, it's kind of reminding me of like, recently in pop culture, we've been in the era of like bringing superheroes back or like Star Wars actors back and things like that. And we're kind of reliving the things that we grew up with. And this is kind of like the sports equivalent to that. So I'm so excited to see him back in the Old English D. And on top of that, you have potentially a budding superstar in Kevin McGonigle, who very well may make the opening day roster. If not, and they do the service time manipulation, it's going to be a very short amount of time before he's up. And I think he's going to be, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think he's going to be one of, if not the best hitter on this team. I've been so impressed by everything he's done, climbing up through the minor leagues and in spring training and the Arizona Fall League and all of that. Hitting has always been my thing. This team that we've constructed is very focused on pitching. Tarek Skubal is the best pitcher in the world. Chris Fetter has done a phenomenal job with this staff. So this is a very pitching-focused team. Personally, what I enjoy is hitting, and while we have some superstars, guys like Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter is a great hitter. I know people throw around the term pure hitter and things like that, and we can mess around with the definition. What does that really mean and everything? But it's been a minute since we had a really, really great hitter, I feel, in this lineup, and someone that like I would enjoy watching even just when they're taking balls or fouling off pitches and things like that. And Kevin McGonigle seems to me like he's going to be one of those types of hitters. Like, I don't think we've ever had a hitting prospect that equals him. So maybe I'm just too excited for this season, getting ahead of myself with him, but I'm very excited to see him as well. So all that considered, all the guys that we're bringing back, we at least have Tarek Skubal for one more season. If he winds up walking, in the next offseason, signing elsewhere, that's going to be devastating. But to be honest, I'm not even really thinking about that right now because I'm just so amped for this upcoming season.
Look, I pretty much agree with most of the points you made, and it's, I think the biggest reason, first of all, the answer is yes, this is the most excited that we've been for a Tigers season in a decade. Now, you could argue that's sort of slim pickings. I alluded to the Gardenhire era and the Avila era not being so fruitful, but the biggest thing to me, because you bring up McGonigle, and I'm super excited for McGonigle. You bring up Green and, re-signing Verlander. That stuff is excellent, but a lot of that is stuff that we as diehard fans focus on. I think that the biggest difference between this season and even last season, which was a year in which they were coming off of a playoff appearance and still had the best pitcher in baseball, the biggest difference right now is the idea of commitment, because us fans, we care so much and we want this team to be successful and we want them to spend money and we want to know that they are maximizing the opportunities they have with some of their talented players. In this particular case, obviously Skubal, who has 1 year left on his contract before he becomes a free agent. And this is the first time where we felt like they've actually made that commitment. Since the Dombrowski era. This isn't, let's give Javi and Erod some opt-out deals. Let's give, let's throw a 1 year contract to this guy or this guy. No, it is a team that, look, you take the Skubal arbitration into account, top 10 payroll in baseball. This is what you need. You don't need to be the Dodgers to win in this game. You do need to spend. And maybe not to the extent that they do, but You had 2 teams in the World Series last year that were top 5 payrolls. That's not a coincidence. I think that commitment shows that the Tigers have finally started to throw their hat in the ring, and it makes for what should be a really exciting season of Tiger baseball.